We've all seen some crazy mocks. Maybe you have made a crazy mock draft so far this year. But that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to look at mock drafts that you guys sent me on Twitter, and I'm going to react to these mock drafts. And you know what? I'll give them a grade. I'll give these mock drafts a grade. So these range from user-submitted mock drafts to some of the more prominent mock drafts out there from some national analysts as well. We're going to get into that. But before I do, got to thank my sponsor, PrizePicks. Hey, let me talk to you about my sponsor for this year, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is a fun way to win cash while watching your favorite team. Forget complex betting rules. Their app is designed to be incredibly easy to use. Just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. We're in the NBA playoffs. The Cavs and their series have gotten underway. We got some picks to share. So let's talk about those picks. Got Brandon Ingram, the Cavs holding him to under 20.5 points. Donovan Mitchell, I think he's going to slow down from his tear that he's had so far. So 27.5, we're taking underneath that. It's a lot of points. Evan Mobley, more than 16.5. I think Evan steps up today. Field goals made for James Harden over 6.5. RJ Barrett over 19 points. Scotty Barnes over 17.5 points. Check to see if PrizePicks is available in your state. You can follow me on the app at Quinn_C to see all of my lineups. Download the PrizePicks app today. Play $5 and get $50 in lineups to download the app using the link in the description. All right, let's jump into some of these mock drafts. This one comes from GG Zap, who says this is his worst case scenario mock draft. And my Lord, okay, we got some choices in this one. All right, so this is his worst case scenario mock draft. He has the Browns in his worst case scenario going Caden Proctor at 24, Carson Beck, Jennings Dunker, Zechariah Branch, Harold Perkins, Isaiah World, John Michael Gillenberg. That sounds like that's not a real guy, right? That's not a real prospect in this draft. That's a country music star that I am unaware of. That is who's going to team up with Pat McAfee to fight Jelly Roll at the next freaking WrestleMania. That's not a real guy, right? That can't be a real John Michael Gillenberg. Is that an actor? Maybe that could sound like an actor. John Michael Gillenberg in Hot Fire. You know what I mean? Diego Pavia, a.k.a. the Weed Man, and Alex Harkey. Yeah. I mean, the one pick I don't hate here is Alex Harkey at 248. Not really in love with Alex Harkey at 248, but, you know, I can understand it. He hits well in space. Whew, man. Yeah. What pick do I hate here? I mean, 24, Carson Beck, right? That's the prototypical Browns just took a guy in the first round to take a quarterback in the first round. That is not different than the Johnny Manziel selection. That is not different than the Brandon Weeden selection. That's not different than the Brady Quinn one, right? Like, you know, if the Browns do something like that at pick 24, we know how this is going to go. It's going to be a loose 1-year commitment. If that player isn't amazing right away, they're going to give up on him, fire everybody, and then the new coach, maybe he likes the guy, maybe he doesn't, and then we kind of end up in the same endless loop at quarterback. I would be furious if they took Carson Beck at 24. I'm not going to lie. I've been saying all pre-draft process that there's not something that people have brought up as a realistic possibility that could piss me off, because there's a lot of options and I'm very flexible with this draft. Carson Beck at 24 would piss me off. So, yeah, congratulations, Zap. You found it. You found the one that would piss me off. Proctor at 6, that's everybody's worst case scenario. Like, everybody's been throwing that one at me as something they hate. Like, Jennings Dunker at 39. I mean, like, I don't know if he's a tackle, but I think he could be an okay player. Zechariah Branch at 70. I don't think Zechariah Branch is going to be terrible. I just think that Zechariah Branch makes no sense when you're already committed to Isaiah Bond, right? Like Zechariah Branch, Isaiah Bond, same roles in the offense. Don't really get that one. Harold Perkins is fine. Isaiah World at 146. I mean, it's fine. Isaiah World at 146 is about where he should go, but I don't like Isaiah World as a tackle prospect. Again, could be wrong about that, but I just don't like him as a tackle prospect. John Michael Gillenborg, the country music star, the tag team partner, Pat McAfee, the co-host of the What's Happening podcast, because that's not a real person, right? Then you got Diego Pavia at 206. I just don't care if they take a quarterback in the 6th round. It would be hilarious because we would draft the one guy shorter than Dylan Gabriel, but I'm not going to work myself up over pick 206. Don't care. Let's be real about pick 206. We're probably going to find out about this pick while we're heating up Hot Pockets and watching the Cavs play. There's no way that we actually care who the Browns take at 206 or 248. I don't care. It's probably going to be some dude we never heard of. We'll get all excited after we see a couple of highlights from him, and then there will be like 25 people who fall in love with whoever they take at 206 or 209 or 248, and then spend the entire training camp advocating fiercely for that guy to make the roster. But don't really care. Interesting worst case scenario from you, Zap. Thank you for putting the thought of Carson Beck to the Cleveland Browns at 24 into my mind. I will never forgive you. All right. M. Day Paulo says this. Caleb Downs at 13. Yeah, you can't get mad at Caleb Downs. Like, here's my reaction to the Browns taking Caleb Downs. Can't be mad at. Right? Like, Caleb Downs is the one player you could take for all 32 teams where you just go, can't be mad at that. Right? Can't be mad unless you're like the Raiders, right? The Raiders are very likely going Mendoza. But like every other team, if you take Caleb Downs there, like, hey, can you really be mad at drafting Caleb Downs? I can't be mad at drafting Caleb Downs, especially at 13. Blake Miller at 24. Yeah, makes sense. I don't know if Blake's going to be there at 24. I think we're overestimating the possibility of his availability there. Denzel Boston, another one I have a hard time believing hits 39, but I would be okay with that selection there. Lee Hunter, the defensive tackle out of Texas Tech. Keontae Scott, I don't think the Browns are going to take a 24-year-old corner in the 3rd round. That's just my thing right there, right? The Browns are pretty strict on those age guardrails, and Keontae Scott is the exact kind of player that they don't like to draft, whether that player is going to be good or bad. They don't like to go for older players here, right? Especially older players that became good late in their careers. Max Clare out of Ohio State, fine. If you get Jake Slaughter at 149, awesome, great. And Tyron Montgomery at 206. I like Tyron Montgomery, and then you get a 2027 second from the Los Angeles Rams. If we're looking at the trade, the Browns traded 6 and 248 to pick up 1361 and a second next year. It's a fair enough deal. I think the Browns would take it to get an extra 2nd round pick next year. So, yeah, definitely something to consider here. All right, let's go to, I'm jumping around. All right, let's go to Thomas here. Thomas, this mock draft, pretty straightforward, right? They go Carnell Tate at 6. Again, I think there are better fits at wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns. If the Browns figure out their quarterback situation within the next 2 years, then Carnell Tate's going to be good for us. I do worry that there is a little bit of a risk here with Carnell Tate being one of those players where we're like, oh man, why did he get good once he left Cleveland and went to a drastically better wide quarterback situation? Because some of the stuff that he does really well isn't the easiest stuff to access from a quarterback standpoint. It's stuff that can certainly help a quarterback if they're able to access it, but there are sometimes situations where you have a great wide receiver, but you can't utilize him because your quarterback's terrible, or you're not because your quarterback's terrible. Your quarterback's limited. You know what I mean? But would I be mad at drafting Carnell Tate? No, Carnell Tate's a fine prospect for what this draft has available. Taking him at 6 is fine. 24, Caleb Lomu. I don't know. You know, I'm hearing back that the NFL just isn't that high on Caleb Lomu. The issue with Caleb Lomu is that you're not going to play him year one. He's a developmental guy, right? You have to develop him, right? It reminds me of I forget what he was, but he's the left tackle that the Chiefs took a couple years ago. I believe his name was like Kingsley, out of BYU. Somebody correct me on what his name is in the comment section below. But they took the guy. He was a developmental tackle. They played him right away, and shit went really wrong with him. I think the same possibility is there for Caleb Lomu if you take him early. Denzel Boston at 39. Don't know if he gets to 39, but if he's there, cool. Jake Goldday, linebacker at 70. Not the linebacker I would go for around that range, but could the Browns take a linebacker? Absolutely. Bud Clark at 107. Yeah, that's great value for Bud Clark, and I think Bud Clark checks some boxes. Does have to be a day 3 pick because he's a little bit older of a prospect, and the Browns usually aren't comfortable in day 1 going with older prospects. Will Lee, 146, sure. Michael Trigg, I couldn't see them taking a tight end. Landon Robinson at 206. I don't know what Rutenberg wants from his defensive tackles. You know what I mean? But I like Landon. Bryce Foster at 248. Don't know much about him. Solid one. Let me go through and grade some of these mocks because I did say I would do that at the beginning of this video. Let me go back to the top here. This is the Doomsday mock. Yeah, that's an F. It's an F because I don't want this to happen. It's not like a bad Doomsday scenario though. It's a good Doomsday. DePaulo, this mock, I would say if the Browns did this, I would give this draft a B plus. A B plus. Yeah, the reason for a B plus, Caleb Downs, really good player. I wonder what the vision is to get him on the field, but really good player. Blake Miller, like that pick a lot. Denzel Boston at 39. Interesting. It would be a pure size pick. Same concerns with Denzel Boston, but more that I have with Carnell Tate about the ability to access his skill set. Lee Hunter, Keontae Scott. I like Keontae Scott as a player, so I wouldn't be upset getting Jake Slaughter, Tyron Montgomery. Yeah, B plus. I would give it a B plus. This draft right here, Lomu, Denzel Boston, 2 wide receivers that, again, you might have a difficulty accessing is going to knock this one a little bit for me. Lomu at 24. The more I've watched Lomu, the less I'm in on him at 24. Goldday at 70. Bud Clark at 107, like that. Will Lee, Landon Robinson at 206 is awesome. B minus. I give it a B minus. All right, Buckeye Reaper. No mistake here. Goes Carnell Tate 6, Monroe Freeling 24, Denzel Boston at 39, and D'Angelo Ponce at 27. Hey man, if this happens, one, I really don't think they're gonna go Carnell Tate and Denzel Boston. Like that feels like creating a log jam. There, right? I know people are obsessed with size and they think the reason the Browns wide receiver room isn't good because they're not tall. That's not the case. The reason the Browns wide receiver room isn't good is because the wide receiver room isn't good. You could draft some shorter guys who have different skill sets and that can work out. You can also have a shitty wide receiver room with just tall guys. So I want to get too obsessed with the height thing. So I am going to knock it for the Carnell Tate Denzel Boston combination because I don't think that makes sense. Monroe Freeling, D'Angelo Ponce. This would be an A plus if we took a different wide receiver at 39 or a different wide receiver at 6. But since we did that and it's not a 7-round mock, got a docket for that. I will give this a minus. A minus. All right, Connor with this one. Monroe Freeling, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, Denzel Boston at 34, Danny Dennis Sutton, Oscar Delp, Drew Aller at 107. Chandler Rivers, Harold Perkins, Matt Gobin. Ooh, that's a deep cut. Like him. He's a center prospect out of Michigan State. Cyrus Allen. I don't think I hate this one. I don't think I like Monroe Freeling at 12. Emmanuel McNeil Warren at 20. I like that. Denzel Boston at 34. Again, I would prefer like Chris Bell because my concern is being able to access a player's skill set from the quarterback position. And given that the Browns are going to be quarterbackless or have question marks at quarterback, Denzel Boston, I think, Carnell Tate is still good, elite 50-50 ball guy. Carnell Tate is still a good enough athlete to be able to make something happen if Shedeur breaks the pocket. I do think Denzel Boston gets lost in this offense. Maybe he's like that and he doesn't, but I do worry about him in an offense where the quarterback play is not going to be super precise and on time. So I like Denzel as a prospect. I don't know if I like him in Cleveland. Danny Dennis Sutton, like him. Oscar Delp, 104, that's cool. Drew Aller at 107, sure. I wouldn't be upset at it. I don't think that whoever they take in this draft is going to really factor into the quarterback conversation for as far as day one starter goes. But it gives you some insurance, an extra quarterback on the roster you're probably going to have to carry for. I give this one a B+. I like this one. This is a good one. I give it a B. You know what? Bump it up to an A-. A- right here. Charlie, this is Peter Schrager's mock draft. Peter Schrager has the Browns going Spencer Fannell, Denzel Boston. I would not be that big of a fan of that mock. I'm going to be honest. Spencer Fannell, real question marks about his ability to play tackle from everybody I've talked to for a bunch of different reasons, but real question marks there. Denzel Boston at 24. I mean, I have my reservations of him at 39, and I don't think he's going to be there at 39. But 24, who's on the board? Casey Concepcion is there. Yeah, who went? Let me look at that, right? Like Omar Cooper went before him at wide receiver. Mekhi Lemon just went off the board at 16. And then Carnell Tate went at 7. So is Jordan Tyson still on the board and we took Denzel Boston in this mock? No, Tyson went 10th. Okay. So yeah, I don't think I would be a fan of this. I would actually be I wouldn't be upset, but I wouldn't be the happiest. I think this isn't the best combination that the Browns could have came up with. Let's see. Let's look at some of the other selections. Let's see what Pittsburgh and Baltimore got. Yeah, I hate this one too because Baltimore gets Vega Ione and Pittsburgh gets Monroe Freeling. Yeah, absolutely hate that. Where did Mekhi Lemon go? To the Jets? Hate that for Mekhi Lemon. I hate that for Mekhi Lemon. Please no. Ty Simpson at 32. Yeah, this is a fine one. I give it a C. I give this one a C. All right. That's the mock drafts that we have gotten. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.